Once again, talks were held between South Korean President Moon Jae-in and his Japanese counterpart Shinzo Abe. The topic, how to deal with Pyongyang's latest provocation. The duo saw eye to eye on pursuing new sanctions against the regime. Hwang Ho-jun starts us off with that phone meeting.
President Moon Jae-in and his Japanese counterpart Shinzo Abe have agreed to put the maximum possible pressure on North Korea to force the regime back to talks. The two spoke on the phone Wednesday morning about North Korea's latest missile provocation.
President Moon said the North's launch of an intermediate-range ballistic missile over Japan was an outrageously violent act against its neighbor. He told Prime Minister Abe that his government had convened a meeting of the National Security Council Standing Committee to condemn the North provocation. The president also mentioned how South Korea staged an armed protest by ordering 4 fighter jets to conduct a live bombing drill. They were the most intense responses against North Korea to date.
According to the Blue House, the two leaders welcomed the unprecedentedly swift gathering of the UN Security Council shortly after the missile test, as well as the Council's adoption of a presidential statement condemning the regime. The Blue House called that statement a result of the close working relationship between Seoul, Tokyo, and Washington. President Moon and Prime Minister Abe agreed to further collaborate to push for a new UN Security Council resolution with sanctions that are more effective against the regime, and also to do more to win support from China and Russia on the matter. Regarding President Moon's past comments about keeping an open door for dialogue with the North, a Cheong Wa Dae official stressed that the president's proposal for dialogue is limited to efforts to prevent accidental military conflict. Those would include, for example, military talks between the two Koreas to re-establish a communication hotline. The president himself repeatedly said that in light of recent events, now is the time to escalate sanctions and pressure on the North. President Moon and Prime Minister Abe agreed to contact one another immediately if such events occur again, and to further discuss North Korean issues on the sidelines of the Eastern Economic Forum in Vladivostok early next month. Hwang Ho-jun, Arirang News.